Hi parents and students of Year 8, it's Mr Taylor here. Welcome to the video tutorial on how to access your report on Go for Schools. Now I know for many of you, you will have accessed Go for Schools in the summer of Year 7, but this is a bit of a refresher and explains the report in a bit more detail, so hopefully you'll be more informed about how to use the system. So you should have received a letter today which details, which has links about where to access Go for Schools, how to access the report, but it also gives a bit more information on the flight paths and what the report means, etc. So I'm just going to go into the system in a moment, but before I do that, I just want to show you the school website and show you where you can access some of the expected outcomes. So if you click on Parents and Carers, you can also do this in the student section of the website. But if you click on Parents and Carers, click on Assessment and Reports, it will take you through to the Assessment and Reports page where you've got a bit more information on flight paths. You've also got a link to Go for Schools, so a link to the Go for Schools website. I'm just going to click that. And you've also got View All Flight Paths. So in the View All Flight Paths section, you can then select your subject. So if you're studying maths, so we can go down to maths, have a look at maths, and then click on Year 8, and it will tell us each of the areas of focus that we're studying throughout the year and the expected outcomes for each of the flight paths. So I'll come back to that, or refer back to that a little bit later. But that's where that is. I'm going to go into Go for Schools now, and I've just got to start my slideshow. Here we go. So here's the Go for Schools website. Just make sure you click on the right button. So some people click on the wrong button. So if you're a teacher, you click on the schools button at the top right hand corner here. If you're a student, then you click on Students button, and that will take you through to the student section of the website. Or parents, you need to click on the parents button. So click on the parents button, and it will take you to the login page. Now, if you've accessed the system before, you just need to pop your email address in and your password, click login, and it will take you through to the site. If you're a first-time user, you haven't accessed the system before, then you just need to pop your email address in here, the one that's registered with the school. And if you don't know that, please get in contact with the school and we'll be able to help you out with that. Put that in there. Please send me a password, and you'll get an email with a password in there. And I'm going to show you how to change your password in a minute. If, in the same kind of vein here, we've got you've forgotten your password, pop your email address in there, please send me a password. You'll get a password through, and then you can access the system. So I'm just going to access the system now. So imagine I've done that. And when you access the system, you'll have one of two different pages come up. If you've got one student at the school or one child at school, you'll come up with their home page, and that's the first thing that will come up. If you've got more than one student, then you'll have this page that comes up, and basically you've got this parent's got 3 children at the school. Access is not yet enabled for 2 of those students, which means they're not in Year 7 or Year 8, because they're the only reports that are available at this moment in time. If you click on the child's name, that will take you through to their homepage. Now, I'm just going to show you, before I do that, show you how to change your password. So if I go up here in the top right hand corner and click on My Settings, I can go in and I can change my password. So I can put that temporary password, which isn't very easy to remember, that was sent through via email. Put that in there, and then just change my password to something more memorable. Make sure you hit change, and you'll get a little notification at the top that says your password has been changed. If you don't hit change, that won't appear. If that doesn't appear, you haven't changed your password, so just make sure you look out for that. Now I'm going to go hit back. Now you can access, or you can go back home. There's a button in the top right hand corner that says My Home, or if you click on the Tommy Scope logo up there, that will take you back to your home page. So this parent that I'm logged in as has got 3 children, as I said. So click on the child's name, and it'll take you through to their home page. Now we've got a number of things up here. You've got 2018 current Year 8, which means this is the school year that they're in at the moment. You can access data from last year by clicking on the 2017 where it says Year 7, so you can access the reports from last year. We can go down and we can look at the timetable for the day, so which is quite useful. You can have a conversation at the end of the day to see what your child has learnt in maths period 5 today, which might freak them out a little bit. Or you can click on view timetable here, and you can see the whole timetable. So that's useful to know when the students have got PE, PE kits need washing and things like that. So you can view their timetable. I'm going to focus in a little bit more on the detailed progress section, and here we've got the subjects that your child studies. You've got their flight path for that subject. So in this first column, the P equals means that they're on a pink flight path, B equals means that they're on a blue flight path, and if there's a Y equals, that means they're on the yellow flight path for that subject. Now, at this point of time of the year, we would expect every subject to have covered 2 areas of focus. So I'm expecting here for 2 pieces of data to be in the system for each of these subjects. So you can see here, I'm just going to focus in on art. For the first area of focus for this child, they were on a minus, which means that they didn't quite hit the criteria for their pink flight path. For the second area of focus that they've studied, now they might not appear in order, so they might not cover them in the order of area of focus 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, especially if they're in a rotation subject like PE or technology. But you can see in art that this child has focused in on area of focus 1, and then they've studied area of focus 3 in their second half term. So they've got their 2 pieces of data in there. One is minus, so we can go back to the areas of focus and see what they should have been able to do in that first one for art, or we can have a look at what they covered in area of focus 3. What's really important, I think, is to look ahead and see what's coming up in area of focus 2, area of focus 4, which will probably be the ones that they're studying next. We've also got an overall column here, and we've asked staff to make a holistic judgment about where the student is at this point in the year in relation to the expected outcomes. So we'll take into account, that teacher will take into account the areas of focus that have been studied so far, and they'll make a judgment about how that student's performing. Now, that will change throughout the year, can change throughout the year, because we will ask staff to do that again at Easter, when they do the reports at Easter, and you'll get those shortly afterwards, and again at the end of the year, so they'll come out just before the end of the year. What I want to point out now is this breakdown column. Now, this table, the whole table is live, so if a member of staff, if there are any changes made to this data, that will come up, and that change will come up. So if in art the student recovers the techniques in area of focus 1, then that might change throughout the year, and that might go to pink equals or pink plus. But here we've also got some live data. So this for maths, and this is the only subject that are using this function at the moment, but it's quite a nice function, and I'm sure as the system evolves, more departments will be using it. But you can click on these links here, and it takes you through to Year 8 maths for this student, and it gives their holistic judgment, their B+ at the moment in maths, but it also gives a breakdown of their scores, their test scores on each of the end of unit tests that they've completed. So you can see here for fractions, this student got 35 out of 45 on their paper. So that's quite a nice feature. As I said, it's not available for all subjects yet, but it will be, or as I said, it may be for subjects as the year progresses. So I'm just going to go back to the main homepage. So just click back on your browser here in the top left-hand corner, and I've scrolled down to the bottom of the page now, and we've got some attendance information on your student's homepage. And as I said, that's live, so that will update every evening. It'll update, so this will record the attendance from yesterday, and today's attendance will update overnight. We've also got our progress and reports. Now, we've launched a report on the 8th of January, which is the one you're going to get today. And at the bottom here, it says View Report. You'll notice this exclamation mark, which means you haven't viewed it yet. Now, the overall column will just capture the overall column from the previous table here. It will capture that, and this will be live. So, as I said, if anything changes, this will change throughout the year. However, this has taken a snapshot of that data, of the data that's in that table on the 8th of January. So this is the overall data from the 8th of January, and the report will be will again take that snapshot from the 8th of January. So I'm just going to go in and click on View Report here. So when I click on View Report, it takes me through to the online version of the report, which I don't think is particularly nice, and we recommend that you click on View Report as PDF at the top there. So if we click on that, you'll get a PDF open in a new window, and on page 1 we've got the Tomlin Scope logo, you've got the date or the term, so this is the Year 8 Autumn Report, and the student's name. Page 2 has that table from earlier, but it's got a couple of other features in there. So we've got our flight path target, we've got our areas of focus filled in, and our overall on the end there. But we've also got attitude to learning, and our descriptors here for attitude to learning: excellent, good, satisfactory, and poor. So you can cross-reference those with the different subjects. At the top there, we've got our flight path descriptors, and just a reminder of how the system works. If you've got a plus, so P+, your child is making above expected progress in relation to their flight path. So in relation to the pink flight path, this child has made above expected progress. And you're in focus 1 for computing. If they've got an equals, so let's just find an equals, B equals in English, this child is making the expected amount of progress for area of focus 2 in English and in relation to the blue flight path. And if they're on a minus, so we'll have a little look at back to art, in area of focus 1, this child is making below expected progress in relation to their flight path. So in relation to the pink flight path, they haven't made the progress that we'd quite like them to make. So you can have a look at that. I think that's really important. You can then refer back to the expected outcomes, and you can do that via the report. So on the right hand side here, we've got some links. If you click on those links, then it will take you through to the expected outcomes for that subject. So you can go through and look at area of focus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can look at the expected outcomes for the yellow flight path, the pink flight path, and the blue flight path. And just a reminder, if you're on a pink flight path, then you should be hitting the expectations from the pink flight path as well as the yellow flight path. If you're on the blue, you should be we should be hitting the expectations from the blue, the pink, and the yellow. So just a reminder of how that works. And the last bit at the bottom of the PDF gives a bit of attendance information. And as I said, this may not, it's live, it's a snapshot. So it may not be the same as what's on that live page a couple of pages ago. So just bear that in mind. That is a snapshot from the 8th of January. And we've also got behaviour information. So we've got a little record here of how many reward points your child has achieved in the report. That's essentially the report. So thanks for listening and watching. If you've got any queries relating to reports, please go back to subject teachers or heads of year in the first instance. If you've got any issues with accessing the system, so Go for Schools, so any email issues, anything like that, then please contact myself, which is ctaylor@tomlinscopeschool.com. Any feedback on the system, positive or negative, would be great because it's a new system. We'd like to hear your thoughts. And again, send it through to ctaylor@tomlinscopeschool.com or just ping it through to reception. Thanks very much and see you soon.